Culture is the identity of country that shapes the social structures among us. Every country has diverse cultures that introduce them differently from others. However, we live in an era of globalization with wide access to other countries' cultures, which can easily affect our locals, especially the youngsters in our country, who are drawn by westernizations and end up with the loss of traditional knowledge. Isn't it concerning? And if we let this happen, what about the conditions of our next generation? For that being said, we need to take a serious action to raise awareness of the importance of culture in Indonesia. So, first of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Satya Dewi from University of Warmadewa, Bali, and today I'm going to bring up a topic about echoes of tradition in a modern world. Globalization has brought a diversity of cultures and unified them into one culture, which westernization dominates. This culture brings some changes in many aspects of life for the locals in our country, and one of them is the social change. As we all know that Western culture is completely the opposite of what we have in Indonesia, because this culture upholds freedom in every aspect of their life, and somehow Westernization affects the locals to act in the same way. For example, we can see how in various areas in Bali such as Canggu, Kuta, and other touristy places in Bali where the locals are starting to wear or dress in revealing clothes and have a crazy amounts of tattoos all over their bodies. It is not like we're saying these actions are bad, but they go against the culture we have in Indonesia, which upholds politeness and traditions. If we let modernization culture absorb the lives of the locals, then it will decrease the awareness and the concern among the locals about the importance of Indonesian culture. So, ladies and gentlemen, the effect of globalization in this advanced era does not stop there. There's another thing that we need to take into concern. That is the loss of traditional knowledge among the youngsters in our country. But what do we mean by it? I've seen videos on social media of how so many of our youth are making the trends of changing the designs of the originality of our traditional clothes such as kabaya into Korean kabaya style, which is more revealing and quite disturbing for people to look at. Like, isn't it quite concerning? This action has been taken way too far, especially because it has been a trend all over social media platform, whether through photos or videos of our locals wearing it. If we let this slide, then what about the conditions of our generation in the future about traditional knowledge? We don't want globalization to replace our culture with another, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. We need to increase the awareness of the public and the youngsters about the importance of Indonesian culture. This can be done by taking several actions. First is being selective to the advancements of globalization. But what do we mean by that? Being selective means that we are wise in choosing action we want to do, whether it's giving us positive or negative impacts. When we talk about wearing revealing clothes or having tattoos, then we need to think about another impact that we bring. If we go into the healthy aspect, then of course having tattoos is not recommended for some people because it will affect their skin and blood health in their body. However, when we talk about clothes, everyone can dress whatever they want, but it needs to be one path as the culture we have in Indonesia, which is politeness. Secondly, another thing that we can do to increase the awareness about the importance of our culture is by giving socialization about our own culture. As we all know, in this globalization era, we're so familiar with technology, right? Then we have to be wise or use it wisely as well in promoting our culture through online social media, such as Instagram, and tell people the proper way to wear traditional clothes, promoting cultural awareness among the locals, especially the youth about the diversities of cultures, and encouraging them to learn different customs, traditions, and others. By exposing people or introducing people to various cultures, it is hoped that socialization promotes understanding and respect for differences from one generation to the next. Speaking about cultural socialization, as a college student myself, we can bring an action among the locals and also people around our age with the promotions of Indonesian culture by taking them into an outing program where we introduce them into various traditional places in our country so that it will increase their knowledge about our own culture. So, ladies and gentlemen, globalization has brought such a big impact in our life, especially how it can decrease the awareness among people about our own culture. And for that being said, it needs to be minimized or even stopped because culture is the identity of our country and it cannot be replaced by anything. So that's all for me. Thank you for your attention.